introduce.
All right, guys. Hey, I'm Shannon. I am one of the hosts that did Dating with a Twist a while ago. So basically what I wanted to do is, since we can't do another event because everybody is doing the social distancing and whatever, I figured that we'll do like some dating tips on social media. So what I'll do is I'll go around, starting with Natasha, you introduce yourself and whatever you want anybody to know about yourself. And then we'll get into a topic.
Okay, well, I'm Natasha. I am 35 now. I'm 35 and single. I've been single for a year now. I guess I figure I get some background information so that way we know everyone's perspective. But welcome everybody.
Tell Trevor to go next.
Trevor, you next.
Hey, I'm Trevor. Just call me Leo by my middle name. I am currently dating right now. Thank you, Shannon, for the mixer, by the way.
Yes.
So yeah, I just want to make sure that that I definitely get as much input in this first time mixers Sunday sip some wine and some drinks. Speaking of which, everybody need to get a drink right now.
Definitely.
Tell him to show that SWIG.
But we are doing single SWIG Sunday.
Tell him to show his SWIG.
SWIG Sunday, I like that. So again, start that off. I'm gonna take a sip on that.
Take a SWIG.
Take a swig.
There you go. So yeah.
Okay, Kia, you're next.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nakia. I'm 39 years old, single, well, divorced, mother of 2. Just doing me.
Okay. Tell Mitch. You have to take off mute.
Is it on me yet?
Go for it.
Tell him to go.
Go ahead and go. Go ahead and go, Moto.
I'll go.
Tell Mitch.
You want me to go? All right, I'm Walt, or Walter, whatever you prefer. 33 years young. I'm currently co-parenting. Very difficult. I actually moved to Florida to co-parent to be part of my kids' lives. So I have 2 boys. And looking to date. Actually, I haven't dated in almost 2 years, almost. So, yeah, that's the start of it.
Cool. All right. Tell me what you want to go.
Yeah. My name is Talmadge. I'm 43 years young. I'm divorced. I have a bunch of children. I have a lot of experience in life and in professional life, and I'm definitely ready to share and to also receive at the same time.
Cool. All right. Well, cool. So with that being said, now we introduce each other, ourselves to each other.
You haven't introduced yourself.
I'm Shannon. I started Dating with a Twist because I'm single. I've been single for several years. I've been concentrating on basically raising my kids and trying to establish myself in the workforce. So I decided that I wanted to start dating, but I did not know where to go and find single people. So I created Dating with a Twist. I'm in the process of branding. I'll be doing a rewind of Dating with a Twist at Aromas as soon as we can stop with the coronavirus and social distancing and everything. But today what I wanted to do is once you start, which Trevor, I'm so happy that you guys made a connection at that event. But people still have questions. I know I'll get into conversations every day with trying to figure out a man's perspective versus a woman's perspective on certain issues, which can, hinder people from furthering themselves in dating. So with that being said, I want to jump into our first topic. Again, we have to talk one at a time so we can hear each other. My first question is the first date too soon to establish a committed relationship? That was one of the questions that I received on Facebook from somebody. Is the first date too soon to establish a committed relationship? We go together after the first date. Anybody want to start off with that?
Yes.
I
Okay.
say yes. I
It's too
say you
soon.
need at least a couple of, I would say you need a couple of more dates. Because you might have been intoxicated and really feeling that person, and then anything could happen. So for me, no, it ain't gonna work.
No. Okay.
I
Anybody else?
gotta jump in on this one.
Okay.
So I definitely think it's too soon, but I also feel like it depends on the connection you have with that person as well. So I can give you a good quick example. When I met my kid's mother, um, I was at a point in my life where I was just like, yo, like I don't want a situationship. So if we're gonna be having sex, we gotta have some sort of commitment to it. And yeah, things started too quickly leads me to have this notion of like, you know, first dates, you definitely don't want to put a title or a commitment to it. But I also feel like we're grown as well. And if you take that step to have intimacy, that platonic dating, then I feel like there should be some sort of commitment behind that or some between the two parties.
Okay. Anybody else wanna?
I think Barb, if she could put her phone on mute because it kind of has an echo with you.
Okay.
Okay. If it's the first date, you're still getting to know each other. So I don't feel like you should be putting limitations on anything. I mean, pretty much from my experience, seems like you're getting representatives at the beginning.
Mhm.
So you want to get some time to get to know each other and then discuss if it's going to be exclusive or not. But off of one date, you don't know that person. I'm sorry. So everyone's single. You're open to date who you want to date. And if you get to that point where, you want it to be exclusive, then fine, but not after one date. But there are some, exclusions where there are some people where they meet and, they fall in love. I've known a few of them where there's an exception to the rule, but you don't really know someone to say, oh, I'm exclusive to you, but that's just my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay. Guys, any other guys? No, you have nothing, Talmadge? Trevor, you have anything?
I do have something.
Because I have a
Can you
follow-up
hear me?
question with that.
Can you hear me?
Just my experiences, and then I'm gonna let somebody else give a question. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Dating it equates to an interview.
Right.
The first date is the first interview just to find out about the person. You really don't know if they're qualified,
Mm-hmm.
if they have some of the criteria that you meet, and if they actually can be a part of the team. So the first time that you meet them, it's basically an interview, a process that you actually try to just question and answer the situation. And then if they're successful, then you get to the second interview, which gets more in details about what the job entails, which is if the relationship, what you're looking for, what he's looking for, and if this is a match. Because the more that you are talking in the interview, the more that you'll find out if this person is actually qualified, or then that lets you know that they're not qualified.
Right. Gotcha. Anything, Trevor?
No, I agree. 110%.
Okay. So this question is geared to the guys that's on today. Here's another question that I'm gonna give, and then I'm gonna turn it over to somebody else to ask a question. Why do men get disengaged when they're not allowed or they're not asked to come over to the female's house in the beginning stage of, getting to know each other? Here's my situation that I've had. I met someone new that I don't know. I don't have any references because a friend don't know him. And after a couple times of us going other places, he was asking to come to my house. So my philosophy is my house is my safe haven. My kids come here. If I don't know anything about you, I don't feel comfortable allowing you at my house in the beginning. So what's you got, you know, for the guys, what's your feel on that? Like, is that a deal breaker, or is that a sign of rejection? Give me some feedback so I can kind of understand.
All right. So I got something for that.
Okay.
So if it depends on, so it's many things. On a date in general, you want to ask certain questions of you, basically who you live with, in the sense of you don't want to walk into a situation. Then it also depends on someone's motive. Someone that just want to smash, I mean, that's why they want to just get to your house quickly, because your house is supposed to be your temple. So if that's your sacred place, you should never let somebody else in it so easily. So it just depends on the man's intentions about it. I don't think it's a deal breaker, but I mean, as time goes on, if you just keep coming over to my house and I never get to go to your house, we got a problem. So
Right.
I think that's just what it is. It shouldn't be a deal breaker, but that also reflects on the man's intentions to begin with, as far as you dated.
Okay. Any other guys?
Absolutely. I think it's at certain levels in a man's life which will dictate on why meeting or visiting to that person's residence is important. If you're younger, then of course you're looking for to hit the home run. You know, if I can get to her crib, we can make this happen, it's all good. But then also, if you're looking to find out what type of woman she is, still interviewing her, her surroundings and her temple will kind of tell you what type of person that she is. So if I walk into, like for me, for example, if I walk into a house, I'm looking around because everything is still interview status of how does she live, how she keep her home, how she keep herself, what does her kitchen look like, what does her bathroom look like? I mean, is there stuff all over the place? What does the front door look like? All this stuff tells me what type of person that I'm dealing with, because a lot of women are looking for husbands. But then also is when you're looking for a husband, is she really wife material? Like how does she take care of the things that she says is sacred to her, which is her home, her temple? How does she take care of it? Because if she doesn't take care of it well, then will I take what I believe in and put it along with what she has going on and it doesn't match? That lets me know a lot more about who she is and how she does business.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you have anything, Moto?
Yeah, so I don't know if y'all is coming in broken up, but a lot of the speech is actually coming in broken up on my end. So I got bits and pieces and things of that nature. No, it's fine. But as far as it being a deal breaker, you know, just from my personal experience, it definitely isn't. You know, I personally at that point where I feel like once you reach a certain age, you should be able to be sure enough to say exactly what you want. You know, whether male or female, and you get to a point where you shouldn't like have games. You have individuals where you know it's not intimacy level, and then you have individuals where you like, you know what? I see more in this person. Like I want more from this person. I want them to not only feed me in a physical aspect, but more of a mental type of aspect. So if she has a comfort level that indicates, you know, I don't want you to go to my house right now. Okay, that's cool. You know, I don't want you to meet my children right now. Ooh.
Okay, now he's breaking up. I can't hear.
Right off the jump. You know what I mean? So I have when it comes to dating someone that has children. You know, I would expect someone to have children like, oh, hey, come to my house. And I'm like, whoa, what is she on? You get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my perspective on it. So.
Okay. Ladies, did y'all have anything to
add? Me personally, I like for the individual to come to my house. I don't know, I just feel more comfortable in my own home. I know where things are. If something was to go down, I don't know what they have going on, where they might have another lady friend that's scoping their place out and all that other stuff. I've been in some situations where you get a knock on the door and like, you're the innocent bystander.
Oh my. Oh my.
So I like for a man to come over my house because I know where things are. If anything was to go down, I could go get my gun and we're good.
Okay. Nakia, do you have anything?
See, I carry my gun with me 24/7. So if anything get ready to pop off, it's gonna pop, and that's what it is.
I like it. I like it.
But my thing, and I would have to agree. Cause see, okay, well, I got divorced at. I was only married for 2.5 years, so don't think that it was a long life, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I don't like people coming into my sanctuary with my girls. I have an 18-year-old and I have a 4-year-old. To me, you don't need to see them unless I want you to see them.
Right.
You're not invited into that world until I know that I can explain this at least to my 18-year-old.
Right.
If I can't explain it to her and say, well, we are doing this, then you don't need to be here. Now, if you have a problem with that, then again, that brings me back. All right, let's go kick it at your crib. If I can't go to your crib, that's a red flag. You know what I mean?
So it's interesting. It's interesting because you and I are the only two females that have children. And that's something that is definitely a concern to me, is that I have to make sure that I'm doing the things that I want them to do. Like I have a 24-year-old. She knows you can't have, Eric coming over here on Monday and then
there you go.
Derek coming over here on Tuesday, and then you got some crazy dude that you ain't noticed this dude was crazy before you brought him here, and now he's in your house. He watched, your passcode to get in your door. He watched the drive, how to get here, or things that's within your house. With my son, I have to make sure too, you're not bringing everybody to your home. Once they get to this level, I feel like you should know this person. I should at least know. And I'm not saying to always go to his house. We can go out, to different places commonly until both of us get to a point where I can come to your house and you can come to my house. But I can't just bring somebody to my house and I can't even tell the police how to get to his house. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think about.
If anything sexually pops off, y'all, like she said, you don't necessarily have to go to his house. He don't have to come to your house. Y'all can go to a hotel. I don't do motels. Okay? We don't do motels. But
so we don't do no motel. Okay.
But yes,
Cameron, did you have something?
Y'all can mutually agree to go get a room and spend some time together. I think that when you invite people into your world, let alone your body, that's a whole different level. I can joke all day about being flirtatious and all the rest of the other kind of stuff, but that don't mean that I'm necessarily doing it. And I think that's what it's hard to be on a dating scene with this generation, with this era of, I'm not gonna say generation because it's not even the kids, but this era of social media, and we gotta present this way, and we gotta be more than who we normally would be. I think that it is hard. It's very, very hard.
Okay. So with that being said, did anybody else have a question? Now that we got, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, tell me.
Well, I mean, to say that, we're saying social media because I'm 26. So we're going to say this is my era. But women, y'all like that. Y'all like us to show off to the world.
No. Say most. Don't put everybody in that category.
Okay, so when I'm speaking, it's genuinely speaking, not saying directly to you. But what I'm trying to explain is that this is what women like in general, that y'all like to be shown off. Am I wrong?
Okay, so what I was saying was not about being shown off, not about being presented to the world as this is my guy. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have men that only go for the young thoughts, the girls that have the weave, the nails, the everything hanging out, that type of environment, and they think that, okay, well, I got with her, I got a couple of drinks, boom, we supposed to smash. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you being with somebody and you going out with them and you showing them off to your friends or showing them to the world. That's not what I'm saying.
So can I interrupt a little bit, guys?
Go ahead, say it.
Sure.
This is such a good forum because you're getting so much information from so many different levels, because you have so many different ages that are talking from their perspective, and they're talking from their life experiences, which is really good. You have a gentleman that's, he's in his 20s. You got people in their 30s. You have some in their 40s. And at those different levels, you have the thought process and how they live life is different. So I agree, they're all pertinent points. But once you get to this level of going to somebody's residence, that relationship is going to another level. You know what I'm saying? And once it's going to that level that you're willing to share these different things, then at that point it should be like you said, I know their kids, it's okay, or I'm comfortable enough, because taking them to your sanctuary, for men it's different. For men, this is my counsel, this is this is the honeycomb hideout, especially if he's single, this is what I do. So he has no problem with sharing. Women, it's different, because that's something that they try to keep to themselves, so they keep it private. Yeah. Especially if it's the beginning of the relationship. If it's something she does for some time and she still does not allow you to come over, then it's a question. Right. But if it's at the beginning, then I agree with, because I've been in a situation where I've been in a young lady's apartment years ago, and there was a knock at the door, and I was like, okay, I will never do this again, because I felt uncomfortable. But I didn't know what she had going on. With time and learning the person, you kind of get a little bit more of what they're dealing with, their boundaries, because a lot of women have men that they say, well, I'm done with him, but the guy's not done with her. Mm-hmm. All times of night, all times of day, and she thinks that she can just control the situation when she has no control at all. Right. My advice to most guys is like, hey, if she don't want you to come through there, I'm cool with that, because I don't want to have to step outside of my comfort zone, and then I'm in a situation, now I got to make a decision. Mm-hmm.
And that's why the rules are established up front. There will be no comings and goings. Yeah. Unless I tell you you can come over here. That we don't do pop-ups, we don't do none of that. Because the same way I'm going to respect you is the same way you going to respect me. If I'm not coming to your house doing no pop-ups, you can't come over here doing that. So
right.
I got a question. I got a question, though. If you meet a guy and he says, no, you can't come to my crib, why is it there may be an issue or red flag?
Well, I don't know. Let's start with Trevor. I don't know, Trevor, let's start with a goddess time. Have you ever had that situation where a female didn't understand or could not respect your terms?
No. Because I said the expectation. Because, if she want to, honestly, if she want to come back, it's only you want to just hang, or you simple as just want to have sex. Women now are straightforward. I do agree with Tal that it is a double standard when we don't do that, because all of a sudden we got somebody else at our house. That's what the assumption, the first thought is, why I don't want you to come over. But maybe I'm just trying to respect you as a woman who I'm trying to date, that I don't want you to come back just yet, because I know how I am, and I'm just trying to avoid that and do the right thing.
Okay. Okay.
I gotta add to that too. I think we reached a certain point, like, we know our intentions. Whether it's man or young man or young lady, I remember when even a couple years ago, you reach that point, you're dating, you come back to your house, before the Netflix and chill thing happened, and it's like one thing leads to another, so you can have that perspective where it's like, okay, I just want to chill, but then we also have our flesh. We also have that human lust. So when you actually are bringing someone back to your home, to me, I kind of feel like, what is the intentions? Are we wrong for going with the flow of things? Am I wrong for, making that move because the chemistry was just so right? Or am I even wrong for saying, no, you can't come to my house right now because I don't want to introduce, my kids to someone that's not taking it serious right now. And that's something that has been very important to me now as a father. Like, hey, I got kids, I'm not sure where I'm going. And I've been single in the past where I've had, I don't even know how to say it, but just platonic sexual encounters. Just like, okay, we knew what it was. It is what it is. And then as a man, I kind of feel like, when you meet someone that has substance, you're like, man, Would I have sex with her? Yep, I would. But there's something about that woman that I want a little more from her, you know, and that's something that I'm like, as a man, we battle all the time because you have to reach a point in your life where you're like, you know, I don't just want the sexual aspect of it. I actually want a little bit more. And how do you separate that when it comes to the conversation of, hey, would you like to come over? Would you like coffee? Would you like to watch a movie? Because if a woman was to say it, I kind of feel like she's open-minded, like a woman controls the scenario at the end of the day. Like, so what y'all think about that?
I, as far as people coming over to the house, we actually had this conversation with Trevor's roommate. Like I told you, I'm more comfortable with people coming over to my house, but I do screen them. I just don't let random strangers come to my house. But, you know, it is where we have conversations and I feel comfortable with you coming over. But Trevor's roommate explained to me, if you let a man come over so early, they kind of lose respect for you. And I was trying to say, well, you know, trying to ask like how, if I'm not giving any indications that, you know, oh, I'm trying to sleep with you or anything like that, how are you losing respect for me? And he said it's about the boundaries, you know, getting to know the person, you know, setting guidelines where, okay, once we get to a certain level, then yeah, you could come over. So he told me personally for him, if a woman let him come over to her house, he kind of lose respect for her, even though they may not have had sex, but he kind of, you know, he was like, oh, well, you know, she let me come over this early. What else can I do?
And that's the thing, as a man, I don't personally, I just didn't agree with it, because if I have that connection with that person, if I'm truly, because I go based off of vibe, if I'm really vibing with that person, it don't matter the time frame. If you came the first night to the 90th day, it doesn't matter. If as long as I'm feeling you, that's what we're gonna go based off of. That's just me personally. I mean, some men are different, doesn't mean that they're wrong.
The whole lose respect thing because she invites you over, you know, that's very subjective because it's at different levels, you know what I'm saying, of what you're looking at and what you know, what the conversation is and the interaction is. All that stuff leads you to, you know, some people can be like this young lady Natasha says, hey, I don't mind you coming over. That doesn't make her loose. It doesn't make her, well, she's just, you're going to score the first night. That's just how she does things. I think the person and your interactions dictate what type of person is. I think that guy that you spoke to, he's used to dealing with chicks that's what the groove is. If that's the case, then that's what attracts him. So it's easy because I think that's pretty much put out there up front. Say, hey, you know, what's going on? And she's approaching him and she's saying, hey, you know, let's go back to my crib. Then he's like, okay, cool, because, you know, the second thing is he's thinking, okay, this group is going to happen. So he makes a move. He loses respect after he takes care of his business that he went for. But if she shuts it down and says, no, I want to sit down and chill, then I think he looks at, oh, I'm not interested, because all of his other experiences led him to believe that what? When I get invited to her crib early, then I'm going to move. And that's not necessarily the case.
Good point. Good point. So we have about 15 more minutes. Did anybody else have a question that they needed to? Because I got like a million questions, but I want to give everybody opportunity.
I do got a question.
Okay.
If you're inviting someone to your home, whether you're comfortable for, you know, the first time or whatever the situation is, what activities do you do to indicate that it's platonic, or I like you, but I don't have sex, or we, you know, up and things in this nature? Because I think that's, I don't even know how to say it, but that's draws, because let's say as a single mom, you have your kids all the time, and you get that one weekend and you talking to this guy for I don't know how long, and you're like, yeah, you can come over my house. I got the kids free for this weekend. So that seems mom wrong for having sex with that guy on that first time because he brought it to your house? Or is that guy for actually engaging because she invited him to her home? The kids are gone, you know, whatever the situation is, how do you draw those lines? Because it's like, we want to have a good time. I'm feeling you, you know, let's play this, let's do this, let's do that. But how do we separate those platonic values in a sense? So it's like, I still want to know that you're feeling me, I'm feeling you. Can we cuddle up and watch a movie? Is that okay? Because at the end of the day, if you're inviting someone to your home, I'm assuming there is some sort of mutual attraction. And how do we separate those particular boundaries? Especially when you feel like that individual has some sort of substance. Do you go with the flow? How do you go with the flow? What typically the woman steps the stone and says, "Hey, you can come over to my house." Does she cook? Does she, you know, wear some shorts that she normally wears around the house? You know what I mean? Like, how do we set those down?
All right, I'm gonna answer. You go first. I have office hours.
Somebody phone need to go on mute. I'm not sure who.
I have office hours. And I am that mom.
Thank you.
You know, I don't have sex while my girls are here. Now the little one goes with her dad every other weekend. So those every other weekends is when I let loose and I have fun. Now we already at that point we already know what, hey, it's been a minute. I'm finna call so and so, and we gonna do what we gonna do. But that don't mean that it jumps off soon as that person walks through the door. We kind of set the standard. We set what's gonna go down. Either we got food, we got movies, we got drinks. Sit and talk and chill for a minute, and then just let it flow. If it happens, then great. But sometimes it don't always happen. Just because they come over and we watch a movie, we could watch a whole entire movie and then be like, all right, you know, I'll talk to you tomorrow. So it just depends on the person and the situation that you're in that time. Because while I might have had a thought, well, when he get here, I'm going to play Mrs. Raper Girl. But then when as the night progresses, I'm being real. But as the night and the conversation changes, then you kind of let go of some of those thoughts and you just let it, you know, let the situation happen. It's not wrong for a man to go over to a single lady's house and they sit and they chill, they do whatever. It's not wrong for a man to go to a woman's house that has kids. But when kids are involved, I would err on the side of caution because kids easily get attached. My daughters don't have any uncles. My daughters don't. No, sir. And I think it's just, you have to, as a woman inviting a man over to your house, you have to basically control the environment, if that makes sense.
Okay. Good point. Anybody else?
Yeah, I want to share on that. I'm sorry, I know, Natasha, you were next.
Me personally, when I have someone come over, I actually have a jar of questions on my coffee table.
Yes, she does.
I use that as an opportunity to get to know each other. There's, you know, intimate questions. There's, you know, kind of background information as far as how your childhood was, just all range of questions to get to know each other. But like Makia stated, you kind of, most of the time when someone comes over, you already have maybe a plan. Oh, I'm going to bring over wine. I'll, you know, have food. We're going to watch a movie or whatever the case may be. I have Uno cards. I've had Nerf gun fights with people in the house. I have a variety of things that, you know, to keep us occupied. So I think it's kind of established before they kind of come over. And if there is no plan, you know, the woman, she kind of takes the lead. If she's inviting a person to her home, you know, you have to, you know, put in your mind, okay, well, what are we going to do? You know, she's going to kind of take the lead on how the night's going to go if you're inviting someone over.
All right.
I agree with the ladies. I think the most important thing in any interview dating is transparency. The more that you're transparent with each other,
Mm-hmm.
the less red tape that you have to go through. I know you don't necessarily reveal everything right off the bat, usually, but transparency, like Miss Nikki was saying, these are things that are kind of discussed and you kind of know what's going on. And the more that you all talk, about what the expectations are, what you're needing, what's going on. I think that cuts a lot of that stuff out when you're having a conversation. And I hate to tell guys, I tell guys all the time, be honest. Tell the truth. You'll be surprised how she will accept you telling the truth, but you won't be surprised when you're dishonest what comes behind dishonesty. So you tell it up front,
Yeah, for sure.
you get a better result.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else?
No, Tal's right. 110% on that too. Because I mean, you make everything so simple. I mean, we us men, we make it hard sometimes. We do. That's on us. And again, that comes with maturity and experience. So, you know, it's really tough sometimes where we trying to not hurt someone's feelings in a sense, and we can't do that anymore because if we just, you know, straightforward with it, we get more things accomplished. So the expectation is always going to be set for each other, but that's also what we need to do for each other as far as dating, or just even platonic, like my boy said. Even if it's just like that, just, hey, let me know what you want to do. I mean, we have to add all the extra things, or do you want the extra things? But just let me know so that I can get in a mental state of what I really want to do.
Got it.
Okay. So, but with that being said, because I have a few people that have a problem with a woman being upfront and honest. And some people have told me that they see it as you too aggressive. It's not aggression. It's just me being honest and telling you, hey, at this point in my life, I want X, X, next. I don't want to deal with the rest of it.
Well,
but why do men see that as a sign of aggression or a sign of she too forward, she too this?
Well, that's that. To be honest, not to be, you know, to downplay whoever that guy is, they weak. I'm sorry to say it. They just weak. If you can't handle a woman being direct, they're not for you ever. You know what I mean?
Amen. Let me get a swig to that, Trevor.
Just get a swig to that. You want.
I like it.
I don't want no weak woman. I don't care in any form of it. I'm sorry to say it. If any man comes at you like that, Nikhil, that's not the man for you if he feels like you're too straightforward. When you're supposed to be the woman that's supposed to have the nurturing side and to have the emotion into it, I need you to be straightforward so I can understand what you need from me as a man.
Hey,
and to piggyback off of what the kid was saying, I think that is a big thing that we deal with as women when we are seeing somebody. I know what I'm opening myself up. I get to choose. Like for me, for instance, I've been single but unavailable for so many years. Now that I'm ready to date, I don't need to waste a year trying to figure out if he really wanted a serious relationship, if he really wanted to marry me or marry me and my problems and my kids. I need to know, I need to be straightforward. If you don't have any kids or you don't know how to establish, other kids or not willing to accept what I already got going on, what I would have to absorb from your side of it, we don't even need to go on the second date or whatever. But it seems like, maybe not even on the first date, but on the second date or conversation, I need to know, so what are we doing right now? So it's my decision before we move on. Do I want to play around with you? Or are we just having conversation? As we're keeping each other company while we try to, find somebody or whatever. That is a big, big problem. And for some reason, I would say most of the men that I'm seeing or whatever, once I ask that question, it's almost like, they get offended because I'm asking that, but I don't need to exchange phone numbers with you. I don't need to inconvenience, give you my spare time. I'm on a mission. And if that's not what you're looking for, at least let it be my decision if I want to play and have, fill you in my space right now. That's just my opinion.
Can I share? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Cool deal. Hey, that's transparency right there up front. And I want to go back to what Nikki was saying. What Miss Nikki was saying about guys not being able to handle a strong woman. I agree with my man Trevor was saying. Because men, there's so many women compared to men. There's like 7-1. So men, we normally lead with a certain type of persona. So we kind of lead you in that era, which is we try to control the situation with what we lead with. For example,
Okay.
money. If I got money, then I'm gonna play the money game, and she's sucked in with the money game. So I kind of lead what's going on. So she follows that trap. But with a woman that says money doesn't matter, looks doesn't matter, that car doesn't matter. You got a Lexus, that's fine. I got a car. This doesn't matter. Now you take it away. He doesn't have a trump card to play with. So now he's like, you're too aggressive or you too this, because what normally has worked does not work for her. So now this sets up a red flag, because now I can't use that. It's different things I use to lure my prey, so to speak. But if you take that away from me by saying, you know, I'm good, oh, you're being this way or you're being that way, or up front, you're very assertive about, this is what I expect, this is what I want, this is what I deal with, this is what I can't tolerate. And it's like, dang, because a lot of women, they don't come with that, because sometimes women come in looking for something, as men come in looking for something. As a female, when she looks for something, she's more docile, because if I think he's a baller and he can do these things for me, I'm going to play the game to get the rewards. Men do the same thing.
I don't know how much I mean, I agree and I disagree, because I mean, I know I'm just meeting Nakia, but I know Natasha, we're pretty secure in our careers. My bills were paid before we went on this date. So you can't throw, and it's a perfect example because my sister went on a date today, and he pulled out a whole bunch of money. She was like, that doesn't impress me. Why would you want a woman that is only interested because you put out a wad of money? That's not me. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, okay, well, I'm tired of driving. You want to drive my car? Because he was driving a Corvette or whatever, a convertible top, whatever. So she was just like, I got a car. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't impress me. But I'm here for a conversation because I want to know who you are. I want to know how you handle your business. Well, how are you in your career? What can I learn from you, and what can you get from me? And also for you to learn everything. So I told her, I said, well, sound like to me that should be your first and your last date. Because if he didn't know how to engage you without putting up materialistic stuff, that ain't to do it for you.
But what I'm saying is that man feels comfortable doing that. You know why?
It's worked in the past. I agree with that.
Before.
That's why I told her it should be the first and the last.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, when things have worked before, men, you're saying like you and this young lady right here are different, but you're one of millions. You're few. You're very, very few. So there's other ones that's saying they're not thinking the way that you think, because their objective is different from what you're thinking. Yeah. They may be career people, but they're still thinking about what can I get out of the deal. So guess what? When he shows a wad of money and I got a nice vehicle, then she's going to play on that. So they're going to play the back and forth game to see who can break or who can get something out of the other person without giving a thing.
Okay. I think that's why I'm still single, because I'm not willing to play that game. I'm not willing to go back and forth. I mean, I'm already established, and in my mind, I would rather have somebody to come and add to,
absolutely,
what I got going on and keep going. But I'm not finna downplay myself just to fit your thought of what I should be. I've worked too hard and worked too long to get where I'm at. I fought for this. You know what I mean? And it's hard. So a lot of you don't know. Like Natasha say, well, I've been in the military for 21 years. I'm retired now. And now I'm in the civilian workforce. So it's kind of hard to go out there and play around with the women, because while I might not financially need you, I want somebody that I want, not that I have to need to be with me. I want somebody that I want to spend my time, to be, to be my partner. I don't need anything, but there's a want there. And it's hard to navigate that right now. It's very, very hard.
Okay. So with that being said, I would like to thank everybody, those who already knew, the new people I met tonight. I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope this is not our last. I would love to do this next Sunday. I feel like we touched on a lot of information that, from different perspectives. So we get an understanding, of how we deal with men and women and dating and meeting new people and everything. So from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate y'all letting me come into y'all homes and outside backyards and inside your car and bedrooms. And Trevor, you just a Mac Daddy with your peach Ciroc here, or peach, what is it, Hennessy?
Yeah, nah, you got the Crown Peach.
Crown Royal, I'm sorry. With your peach Crown Royal. I heard that's a hot commodity here in Jacksonville.
I'll definitely take a swig to that.
Take a swig.
So, I do want to do this again. If everybody can go to Dating with a Twist, the page that's on Facebook, hopefully by next Sunday, I can open it up where we can go live. So if we want to, hit me up, let me know, hey, are you guys interested in again, doing this again? I'll definitely send an invite. This was perfect. Hopefully all of us walk away with some takeaways from this conversation that can help us all. Trevor, I wish you the most. I'm so proud of you. I'm excited that, I need to be, if this thing goes well with your relationship, I need to be at the wedding. I'm just saying, because I feel like I'm responsible. And if it go wrong, it ain't my fault. I didn't do that. I ain't had to do with that. But I really appreciate, you guys let me take, an hour or two out of your time on a Sunday or whatever. So like the page, Dating with a Twist. This has been amazing. I love it. So we're going to end the meeting. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank y'all. Y'all stay safe out here. This Rona trying to get us.
Yeah.
Everybody stay.
Take a swig to that.